Hi, my name is Gay from Spirit Walker Crystals, and today we're going to take a look at my 7 top tips for learning the tarot cards. So this deck that I've got here is the Shaman Castelli deck, and I like these because they're based on the Rider-Waite, so they're quite easy to read, and the imagery is quite plain on them, but they've got some nice gentle colours with them as well. So when you get your pack, the first thing you need to do is give them a good shuffle. And when you're shuffling your cards, if you hold them this way, they can be quite large, and if you've got small fingers, you can't get your hands apart. So if you bring them around this way, they can actually be much easier to shuffle. So just give them a good shuffle, and then we're going to have a little look at them. And you want to be looking at each individual card. Look at the colours, look at the imagery. What do they actually say to you? You know, do they speak to you? And then what you need to do is look for a sign or a symbol within each card, so that each one card would give you one thing that you can remember, that you can pick out. So for instance, if we were looking at this one is the Five of Swords here. And if we look at the bottom here, you can see that you've got crossed swords at the bottom, and he's kind of got his arms in the air with the other swords, and these little people are kind of walking off, sulking here. So he's obviously won all the swords there. But the fact that there's 2 crossed on the floor means that there must have been cross words maybe before he actually won all the swords. So let's just look through the rest of them and see what else we can come up with. So look at each individual one. Now this one here, this is the Three of Wands, for instance. Now in this little card here, I'd be kind of looking at the 3 little ships in the back there. And you know, there's a saying, when your ship comes in. So this person here is looking for what's happening, and because the ships are coming towards him, then that would tell me that something is coming for him, so something good. Let me just pop that back in the cards there. And you keep doing this all the way through your cards, looking for what we like. Now we've got the Death card here. This often frightens some people. But again, you need to concentrate on one thing. The card actually looks like death and destruction all there. You've got people lying on the floor. But people think that when this card comes up, you know, well, the Death card, I must be going to die or something. But, you know, that's not what it's about. If we look here, these actually people got hope. He's got his hands in the hair saying, oh, come on, please help me. And if we look up here, we've got an egg timer, and you know that there's still some sand in the top of the egg timer there. So that would tell me that, you know, your time's not up yet. And he's going to take you forward. The horse is moving forward. So maybe going forward into a new time there. So once we've looked at all the cards individually, you then want to be looking at one particular suit. So I've chosen the coins here just to lay out for you to see, and you want to look at each suit individually, so that we're looking at what the main focus is about. So if I bring these down a bit closer so you can see them all, and we can see that this particular suit is the suit of coins or pentacles. So it's all about money, and each of the cards here would represent money in some way within the cards themselves. And you'd want to do this with each of the 4 suits. And as we've got here, you've got the coins representing money, whereas the cups would represent your emotions and how you're feeling, and the swords would represent your thoughts, and the wands themselves, they would represent our work life or our home or our career. So once we've actually looked at this, we'll move these out of the way, and then we look at them individually. So if we were to look at particular numbers, for example, and we were to lay out the numbers, so we'll get the 4 of coins and put it down with these as well. So let me just move these out of the way here, so we can get the 4s in. So if we look at each of the 4 cards, we're looking to see, have they got a common denominator? And for these particular cards, I would say that there's no movement in them. We've got the Four of Coins here where he's hanging on to his coins, so there's not going to be any movement with the coins. He's not letting it go. And this one here looks like he's having a bit of a sulk under the tree, and he's missing out on the cup that's coming in. So again, no movement. Four of Swords here. Sorry, yeah, Four of Swords. He's lying down, resting. So again, no movement. So, and here we've got four battens standing up there with a canopy on the top, and he's kind of got his arms in the air, so he's not going anywhere. He's kind of come home, so to speak. So if we look at the eights, which are in comparison with these, so let's just move these up a little bit, and we look at the eights, then we've got movement within this, or lack of movement in some of them. So in the Eight of Cups here, you can see that the man is walking up the hill, so he's moving up the hill. And the eights here, that we've got battens being laid up into the air there, moving up. And with the Eight of Swords, this doesn't actually show that there's a lot of movement there because she's tied up. But if she just took her hands out and released those ties that are around her tummy, she would see that there is actually movement, that she could turn around and walk away, because these swords are actually only in front of her, so it's only in her mind that the movement is actually stopping. And here we've got this chap working very hard and building his coins here, and he's putting them up and they're ready to sell. So he's doing something, he's doing cards. So once we've then looked at all the numbers individually, and you'd want to do this with each one of them, let's move that out of the way. We then need to think about the people within the cards. So if we take a look first, maybe at the queens here, let me just bring them in. The queens are different people. You look at their personalities, you know. Look at this lady here. She looked the Queen of Swords. She looks somebody who's quite got her head in the air, and you may think she's got her head in the clouds because there's clouds on here. But her sword is very upright, so she's going to believe in justice and that. But she may be a bit aloof, whereas the Queen of Cups looks like somebody who is perhaps very gentle, very shy, sitting on a shell there, but could easily go back into that shell if she needed to. And if we look at the Queen of Wands here, we've got a lady who looks quite comfortable in her own surroundings there, quite happy in her big chair. And this lady, the Queen of Coins, again sitting in her upright chair, but we could look here at maybe the bull on the side of the chair and think, well, maybe she's a bit bull-headed, maybe a bit stubborn, you know. And look at the imagery, look for little signs in them, like the little rabbit here. What does a rabbit mean for you? Personally, look up the signs of what rabbits mean, so you can bring more into your actual readings. And then look at the way they're facing. These three ladies here, they're all facing forwards, whereas the Queen on the side, she's facing away. So if you had these two ladies come together within a reading, we could say that this lady here is maybe the one that wants to have a friendship, and this one's turning away from her. Whereas if we had the cards the other way round in the reading, we might say that this one is actually wanting to be friends with her, and she's actually facing forward. So always take note of the position of the people within the cards themselves, within your spreads. And also look, if I bring out the knights here, which again, people, we can see the difference in the way that they're actually moving, or lack of moving. If I put the knight of pentacles in there as well, move these out to the way so you can actually see them. We've got the Knight of Cups there, who's kind of trotting on his horse very, very gently. And again, look which way the horse is facing. If in comparison, if we look at the Knight of Swords within this deck, this Knight of Swords is charging away with his sword held out straight in front of him. He's not thinking, he's just charging in. And if you look at the trees down below him, they're kind of blowing very quickly in the other direction. So that would kind of tell you that he's moving fast. Whereas if we look at the Knight of Pentacles, his horse is very stable. In fact, it's not moving, it doesn't seem to be moving anywhere. And he's kind of going, look what I've got there. Whereas the Knight of Wands is charging in. So, when you've got your cards, if we go back to the whole pack, maybe a good way of doing things would be to actually have a card of the day. So just choose a card from anywhere in the pack. And we'll just have this one. And we've picked today the Wheel of Fortune. So you could choose this card as your card of the day and then just think of everything that you see in this card. What's happening? What are you drawn to? Are you drawn to the man at the bottom here where he feels perhaps he's got the weight of the world on him? Or maybe you're drawn to the one at the top and thinking, well, you're on top of the world today. What's happening? Have you been down and you're climbing back up maybe? Or are you just hanging on in there, depending on which you're drawn to? So I hope you've enjoyed my little account of some tips on how to learn the tarot. If you want to know more and you want to learn the tarot itself, you might want to do our course, which is available on HTTPS on spiritwalkercrystals.learnworlds.com. We hope to see you there. Thank you for listening.